What up, guys? Gonna do a little video review. A lot of you guys probably won't watch this video because you guys will look at the assignment and be like, okay, I know exactly what to do. But, we had a break and sometimes we lose things, and I just want to make sure we start, recollecting all the stuff that we haven't remembered or haven't touched in a while. So, I'm gonna do some review. Alright, I'm gonna pick a few problems just to take off your plate. I know for the file right now, it's basically saying, 1 through 17. So I'm going to do a scat of problems, maybe like 2 or 3, maybe 4, problems from 1 through 17 to reduce your homework load on this Monday. So when you do graphing, just make sure you make note of a few things, right? One, right, when x is equal to a number, very simple stuff, right? That's going to be representing of a perfectly vertical line. So that's going to be a vertical line. Right? Now think, if y is equal to a number, then that would be a perfectly horizontal line. So that's going to be for a problem coming up. So like a problem like number 1, just to recap, x is equal to 5, so I'm going to dot 5 on the x-axis. And note that it's going to be a perfectly vertical line going straight up and down. Okay? This is what you're doing for your review, mainly graphing. Right? Now, doing a problem like number 2, right, you got to talk about what form it's in. Well, this looks like it's in y is equal to mx plus b, and we talked about this as being in slope-intercept form. And with slope-intercept form, we were looking for two key pieces of information, right? Two key pieces of information. We said that the m is equal to -1, and we said the b is going to be -2. We graphed the y-intercept first, and then we graph the slope. Alright, so that 1 is going to be -2. And then for this slope right over here, you can change it into a fraction of -1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And so when I connect those two, or 3 I should say, since it's 3 points, that's going to be it. Notice I'm being very generous with the line. Don't draw your little rinky-dinky lines. Especially with the unit that we're covering after this, I don't want any little tiny lines. It's actually going to make your life a lot easier if we just strike it through the majority of the graph. But if it's like a little graph, just go all the way through. Okay, so I did 2 problems. Pretty quick so far. Alright, let's do another type of problem. Let's do problem like number 5. Number 5 right now, it's in standard form. Alright, it looks like ax plus by is equal to c. And then how we covered it in class to make it simple is we're going to change into slope-intercept form. So, with that being said, x minus y is equal to -4. And I want y alone, so I'm going to subtract x on both sides. So therefore now to be -y is equal to -x minus 4. And then since the y is still a negative, I'm going to divide each one by -1. So y is equal to x plus 4. And so my m is going to be 1 because that's the one that's right in front of the x. And then my b is going to be 4. So that's a positive 4 for my y-intercept, because we always graph the y-intercept first. And the slope, same thing as saying 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1, right 1. And then I'm going to go ahead, oops, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and place my ruler there and strike it all the way through. Strike it all the way through. Alright. So we're good. So we just talked about, recap, slope-intercept form. We talked about changing from standard to slope-intercept form. Another form that we went over right before, our little Thanksgiving break, and it was actually right before the test, which was point-slope form. Point slope, we said, was y minus y1 is equal to m parentheses x minus x1. Our m, right, was in front of our parentheses, right? So our m in this case is going to be 3 over 4. And then we said that our x1 and my x1 and y1, that's going to go ahead and be right over here. So my x1, and remember you flipped the sign, so that's going to be -4. And my y1 is going to be positive 2. So my x1, comma y1, my starting point, is going to be -4, comma 2. Alright? So remember, our starting point, -4, comma 2, so -4, 2. So that's going to be right over here. And then I'm going to use my slope to go up 3, right 4. So up 3, right 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect those two right over here to create a line. So that's going to be in point slope form. Now, you're going to be seeing some equations where you're like, you know what, I'm not really comfortable with point slope form. Like, for example, 11, 12, you might be able to change it into another form. That's at your discretion. So if you feel comfortable with doing that, that is fine. Just make sure that you're producing the correct graph. All right. And then here comes the last type of problem. And remember, you only do 1 through 17. I already knocked out several of the problems. Is that we're going to do problems for 15, 16, and 17. We'll do 15. That's about it, right? So for 15, 16, 17, it says write the point slope form of the equation of the line that goes through the given point and the given slope. So in this case, right, they give you the slope, which we've defined by m, and they give you a point, which is our x1, y1, and then we go ahead and put it in, so that's y minus y1 is equal to m, parentheses x minus x1. We're going to put it back into our point slope form. And remember, for your original x1 and y1, you're going to flip the sign. So if it was negative, it becomes positive. If positive becomes negative. So that's going to be y, right? So that's a positive 3. That's going to be -3 is equal to, slope remains the same of -8 over 3. And it'll be x. And since our x1 was a negative, so that becomes a +4. And since it only says to change it in point slope form, that's it. You don't need to go ahead and change it into slope intercept form. I hope that helps. Your homework is 1 through 17. Let's get this, guys. All right, only a few more weeks until Christmas break. All right, take care, guys.